Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I'm proud to have Mark Adams on the show with us, who is a basketball skills trainer and a coach. Mark, thanks for coming on, and I'm really excited to hear about a lot of your really great background.
Thanks, Coach Nick. Happy to be here and looking forward to talking some player development with you.
Well, so why don't you start with telling us how you got started in this whole rigmarole of a coaching profession?
Absolutely. Well, after playing 4 years at St. John Fisher College, I was very fortunate to land my first coaching job as a graduate assistant at Syracuse University with Hall of Famer Coach Boeheim. And was on his staff for 3 years, and it really helped pave, I think, my foundation and career for the rest of my coaching.
So, what was that like? You were on the court every day watching him coach?
To watch Coach Boeheim and that staff teach, especially when they would break into their groups and do player development every day, was just amazing, and it really helped me, I think, become a better coach.
So that led you. Where did you go next from that point on, and how did you get into the focus on individual stuff?
Well, I coached at the college level for 4 years, and I have two passions in my life. Number one is my family, and number two is basketball. And after I got married, I decided to focus on that passion number one, which is family, and start a family. And that's when I got into coaching high school basketball. And I loved it. I loved being a head high school coach. I did it in the states of North Carolina and Florida for 16 years, and had some success. Was able to coach some great players. And having been at the college and the high school level, I used to work some clinics in the summer. And I really just kind of, found myself enjoying the clinics and teaching. And a couple guys said to me, "Have you ever thought about, being a professional basketball skills trainer?" And a switch kind of went off, and I kind of reinvented myself in the same game that I love. But here I am today, 2 years later, and really enjoying it.
So what is that like? How structured are these? Are your workouts? And can you tell us a little bit about who you're working with and how they've responded to what you've been doing?
Absolutely. I base my business out of Cary, North Carolina. So I do workouts during the week with a lot of high school players throughout the week, and then on the weekends I travel. So I may travel, all over the country to work with high school teams, AAU programs. And then I'm also fortunate enough to do some pre-draft work and work with some NBA clients as well. So it's a lot of travel. At times it's a little bit stressful on the family being away, but I love it and really enjoy it, and have become really busy as of late.
We'll get into some nuts and bolts here, because I'm sure a lot of people watching want to hear, what are the things that you're working on and stressing that is going to take, them to the next level if they're listening to this and working on their games?
Absolutely. I think when you talk about player development, the first thing for me, Coach Nick, is I really want to teach. I think a good player development coach is going to be a teacher. And you want to teach skills. You want to help players improve. You want to help them get better. And I think the focus should be on things that translate to real game situations. You should help prepare them for what they're going to see in a game. I don't think the focus should be so much on the drill as really on helping that player get better and prepare them for what they're going to see and do in a game.
So you get out there. By the way, I'm curious, do you actually work on defensive skills as well?
That's a great question, and I try to incorporate some defensive concepts into our workouts. Half of the game, 50% of the game is defense. And as a high school coach, I really pride, myself on the defensive end, my team. So absolutely. And I think if you get creative with your workouts, you can do some things closing out, defensive footwork, and you can really incorporate those things into your workout. And I try to do that, and I think it also pushes the player, and it gets them thinking about the defensive end as well.
When you're working with a guy at the NBA level, for instance, is there that much teaching going on, or are you simply just trying to refine whatever is already there?
Well, I think if you're a good coach or a good player development coach, I think you're always going to remind. And in reminding, I think you're always going to teach. But, you want them to get reps. You want them to get solid reps. I think a lot of the high-level workouts, a lot of the workout is done before the workout takes place. You want to have a good relationship not only with that player, but you want to have a good relationship with that player's coaching staff, with their organization. I know you're familiar with the use of data and synergy and Vantage. You want to get as much information as you can and as much input from those coaches so that you can put those players in spots and in situations that they're going to see in a real game.
Now, when you're working at the high school level, is there something that stands out in your mind that is glaringly weak? That a lot of high school players come in and they just don't have a certain fundamental. Have you noticed a pattern at all when you're working with those kids?
One of the skills that I really see lacking is players' ability to pass. I just think it's a skill that for some reason, and maybe there's not an emphasis on, but I try to do a lot of a lot of footwork with my players, but certainly passing and catching the basketball, two, I think, very, very important skills that often get overlooked. So I think at the high school level, the passing is something that I try to focus on and really get the kids to improve that aspect so when they go back to their program, they're able to handle pass and catch.
You can imagine that you had a camera on the court, you could film their jump shots and really go frame by frame and look at that.
Today I actually was doing a workout with a high school girl and took out my iPhone and just started taking some pictures, some still pictures of her release point, and we were really just trying to get her balance, get her release point up. We actually took a little bit of video and we sat down together and probably spent 5 or 10 minutes looking at that video, and it was very useful. So yeah, once in a while, even during a workout, you can take the phone out, film their reps a little bit, and then let them see it because the film doesn't lie.
All right, well, Coach, you're on the hot seat right now because I'm going to ask you some questions of things that we harp on all the time. I'm curious on your take on them. So certainly, I don't know if you've seen the videos we've done on our shooting stuff with the Pro Shot series, but certainly we talk a lot about the turn. Is this something that you would teach on the jump shot?
Coach Nick, I'm kind of an old school guy. I'm kind of a guy that likes to get squared up. I like to teach the footwork being squared up to the basket. But I do realize that the way the game has changed, the way that guys are shooting, a lot of times when I'm training guys, I'm going to allow them to get into their rhythm and to their routine. One thing, though, that I will tell you, and I know this is going to bring a smile to your face, is I'm really emphasizing the hop a lot during my workouts. I just think it's great footwork. It allows for either pivot foot. I think it keeps the player balanced. It keeps them low. And it's a great way to attack. Now, on the other hand, I also do want my players to be able to shoot off of either foot. I want them to become a left-right shooter, a right-left, because I do think in times in the game that they're going to have different foot patterns. But certainly I think the hop, I've really started to stress more, probably because of all of your breakdowns.
Well, you had me at the hop. It's great to hear, and everything you said I agree with and more. Remember, I was a 1-2 coach for 15 years. I wouldn't let anybody hop until I looked at it, and I felt like this was just a better way to do it. So great to hear. Really great stuff. Looking forward to having more of this discussion with you, and then also I'm looking forward to getting on the court with you, where you can actually show us, some of the great stuff you're doing on the court. That'd be really exciting for me. Thanks for coming on, Coach Adams. Another really great stuff, and don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Mark?
I'm in.